Hello everyone, and welcome to my first project using the Couture Creations design team kit, Petit Jardin, or the little garden in English. Now, I've already collated a few bits and pieces that I'm going to use, and I've kind of worked out the outline or the layout of the card that I'm going to make just by putting the dies onto the front of this card, and this is an A6 card. So I've got a cut foil and embossed frame, I've got a hot foil stamp, I've got a regular thin metal cutting die that I'm going to foil with, and I've got a regular cutting die here that I'm going to die cut with. So a variety of different techniques going on here using both the go press and foil and the go cut and emboss. So I'm going to make a start. I will just clear off these bits for now. Turn this to face me. First thing that I'm going to lay down is a piece of the patterned paper from the paper pad. I've already put some double-sided tape on the back, and I've done it so that it will be the full size of the front of the card. I thought that would make a nice change rather than just matting and layering. Now, when I need to take my time and layer up cards so that it aligns correctly, I'll often do this, which is just take off a little bit of the backing from the double-sided tape, so that when I lay it down I've still got time to sort of move it around and double check that it's in the right place. So you can see how those little tabs stick out of the side. And make sure that it's in the right place. And then once I have it in position, I'll just smooth down the tape and peel off the rest of the backing from the double-sided tape. Go. That's the card front decorated. Now I'll put that to one side for now because I've got a few bits to do. So first I'm going to use the frame, which is a cut foil and emboss frame. So I'm going to pop that onto thick metal shim in my go press and foil and let it heat up for a bit. So I've got myself a piece of cardstock. Sorry, I've got myself a piece of foil. And I've got myself a piece of cardstock that I'm going to die cut from, and this is just some watercolour powders sprinkled onto some damp watercolour paper. I'm going to use this frame, which is the next size down of this nesting frame set, and I'm going to use that just to cut out or gut the middle of this frame. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that I don't necessarily get any extra foiling in the middle bits of this foiling. Okay, and I'll save that bit. Now I'm going to lay the foil on top of cut foil and embossed die, just making sure all the areas are covered. Then I'm going to position my cardstock on top of that. And then I will pass this through my die cutting machine. Let me just pack my foil away. Okay, so we've got our die cut and embossed frame going on here. Let's reveal that. So we've got a few bits down the edges. They're sitting on top. I'm just going to use a random brush just to get those moved. sometimes the foiling will come off on the edges, so you can just remove it with a little brush, a nail brush, a toothbrush, old toothbrush obviously. There we go, so that's lovely. It's got a little foiled edge on that die cut, and that is going to sit in the middle there, but I do have to do the hot foiling as well, because I'm going to position the floral design in the middle of that too. That I will come on to in a moment though, because first I need to do a full foil technique on this piece of cardstock. I just need to grab myself another piece of cardstock to go on top. If you're wondering about any of these techniques, by the way, do check out my playlist, as it has all of these listed in a playlist that you can just watch back to back. So I'm just going to pop that in there. I'll put the frame to one side. I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine. Things I'm going to do now. One is I am going to take away the thick metal plate. I'll grab my silicone mat to put that on. Take away this, and I'm going to bring on the thin metal shim and let that sit for a few minutes and warm up. Okay, so there's my full foil. A little bit of distressing going on, and that's good because I'm going to use this for some foliage, so I don't want it to be too perfect. So while my thick what's-it is heating up, sorry, my thin metal shim is heating up, I'm going to cut out this leaf design. Perfect. Okay, so that's that bit done with. Put that to one side. I've got that now. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is to hot foil the back side of this tag die. So I need a piece of foil that's that size, which I've already cut, and a piece of cardstock. So the cardstock is going to go first, then the foil, and that will then sit on top of, or the die, sorry, will sit on top of the foil. Now I'm going to grab myself a bit of masking tape and stick this down. I'm going to pop this in here and let that sit and heat up again for a couple of minutes. And I just need to make sure that foil is just big enough. Yep, perfect. So that I'm also going to hot foil that shortly as well. Let's put some double-sided tape on here while we're waiting for the machine to heat up. tape is on. I'm now going to pass this through. I think I've got it there now. Yes, okay, so that's all right. Got a little bit of distressing over here, but remember, I'm going to cut this out next, so we're not looking for perfection. I'm lining the die back up, this time with the cutting edge facing the foiling. Oh, I've got a bit of leftover masking tape there. So now I'm going to run that through my die cutter with the regular die cutting sandwich. Go. Foiled edge on the die cut tag, which I do like. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Perfect. Pop that off to one side. So you can see we're getting all our bits now. Now I just need to hot foil the flower onto the cardstock. Just make sure I put my stamp away first. So I want it to be fairly much in the middle. So I'm going to put my hot foil stamp onto heat up. Will I? Yes, I think I'll take the thin metal shim off. I just want to work with the hot foil. I'm just using the grid on the hot foil plate. I hope that I can position this quite accurately afterwards. So if I move that down a little bit. it's going to be in the middle. There I know it's going to be where I need it to be. Okay, 60 seconds for that to heat up. I've got my foil ready. Time for a quick swig of tea. All gone. Right, let's do some foiling. Okay. I'm just going to position the foil on top of the hot foil stamp. Then, so the cardstock needs to be this way, so it needs to go over that way, in the middle, and just off the top. Perfect. Lovely. Beautiful design embossed and foiled into the watercolour cardstock. So, time to put everything together now, I think. There's the first stage, so that's the foiled rectangle onto the background. I'm going to pop the tag in, and that's going to go in here. I'm going to use foam pads for this though. This twiggy thing was going to go in here. I wonder if I should have cut another one for up here too. I think we'll be alright. Use a bit of PVA for this one. Looking okay so far. Now I had cut some strips to be little ribbony bows. Ribbony bows? Is that even a word? Probably not. And I'm going to wrap those around my thin pokey tool. I'm going to add a little something in here. I'm not sure what yet though. I will trim those ends off as well. Oh, maybe if I trim some strips off here I could make a bow. Let's do that. Wrap it around so that it forms the little knot that you would get in a ribbon. I'll cut a couple of extra bits to be the ribbon ends. And what I will do is use my curved scissors just to cut the tails. And then we can pop these on. got my little snippy scissors out, I shall cut the ends of those bits off. And then a blob of glue up here should be the finishing thing with this little bow. And there we have it. A wonderful little thinking of you card made with a variety of different foiling techniques.